Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Brown Munde. Thanks for coming back and listening all. Now we've got a bit of a jam-packed show today. We've got a lot of different things we want to cover, so I'm not going to hang around too much, but I have got the boys Akil with me and Afsar. Boys, how you doing?
All good, man.
Yeah, all good, man. All good.
All good. You sound it, man. You sound like, do you know what I mean? Sounds like a tough week, man, especially in the week of Man United. Boys, I just want to start with transfers because, we've heard a lot of different things, obviously around United. You know what? I think one of the days we're going to have to do a count of how many people are actually players have been linked to us, man, because it's got to be...
We've got a big enough calculator.
And that's what I mean. No, do you know what I mean? It's going to be touching nearly 3 figures soon. But yeah, let's start with Hojlund. I think what's happening, because I think most of the people said by Wednesday he'd been here and signed, sealed, and delivered.
Have you not seen? He's announced it already. He's done his own little announcement.
I don't know what it was. Was it because I saw Hojlund, was it on Instagram where he's in the kit but his face is missing or something like that? Was that actually him, or was it like a parody count?
No, I think it was just an edit that someone's done. A headless Hojlund, basically.
Okay.
Which is quite funny as well because he's been liking a lot of different posts that he's been tagged into.
United related.
Yeah.
Since he's come over to England.
I mean, even when he was in Atlanta, just the links of it all, he's been liking a lot of different United posts. Which is, I mean, for a kid like that, he just wants to move. Yeah. I think what's going on is obviously the media reporting that is his visa. I think Samuel Luckhurst has mentioned medicals are done and it's just a visa that he's sorting out.
Okay, so he's in the country, as we know. So he's had his medicals done. But yeah, because they're saying they want to announce it alongside the game against Lens, don't they?
Yeah, on Saturday, is it?
Yeah, Saturday. See, to me, I've seen... I mean, let me get your thoughts before I say anything. Obviously, he's coming over, if it had been signed by Wednesday, but it's not. So people are saying, that's rubbish. He should have been playing on the weekend. They're only delaying it so they get more interactions because it's on a weekend game. So, our social medias will blow up. What's your thoughts on that?
You know what? I think it's pointless because I think the game's on MUTV only. And yeah, okay, you want to basically bring him out to the fans and stuff, but just do like a slight announcement. As in, like, obviously, United on the website, United have agreed in terms with Atlanta to sign Hojlund.
Yeah, we used to do that before. A agreed, barring medical or whatever. It used to be
subject to personal terms or something.
I think we did it last summer with Casemiro and Varane, and they literally brought him out, and then they released the article saying United have signed Casemiro on signed Varane. So I think it's stupid.
I think with them though it's different because they're Galacticos, they're 5-time Champions League winners. They were the cream of the crop in terms of club football. But regarding Man United announcements, I mean, I have a little theory that it's something to do with John Obi Mikel.
Go on.
The whole situation there whereby Chelsea basically nabbed him at the last second and that caused Chelsea to get a transfer ban. Like, is that maybe why they do the announcements in the ways that they do? Or
delaying the announcement until it's wrapped up, signed up?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure because did we just say
just that slow? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to go with my theory then. I mean, I'll counter that because obviously we just said, we did agree with Casemiro and Varane. We did kind of announce it. Even Ronaldo, 100% remember that we said we reached an agreement and then the month he signed, he'd signed. But my theory outside is I think this even does in charge of the social media. Man United. Do you know what I mean? Whichever. I think it's a Desi. Always late, like, do you know what I mean? Sara kuch ho janda hai, like, Sara kuch pata hi hunda hai, like, do you know what I mean? Where to, and then they're doing an announcement, like, surprise, like, we already know. Like, do you know what I mean?
The whole world knows. The player's already done his goodbye video. The player's already.
Yeah, like Mason Mount had already said bye to Chelsea, and
we've already made TikToks out of it.
But the thing is, like, even the Mason Mount is a classic one because obviously when he signed it, they had nice brown hair, fresh haircut, like, you know. But when they released the video, the Chelsea one is a goodbye. But the day before, it was like blonde, wasn't he? Like, and that was his haircut a few weeks ago. So he just goes to show.
It was months ago.
Was it even months ago?
I think everyone was saying that he recorded that 3 months ago.
Wow. Okay.
So then he dyed his hair, and then he signed for United. So that video was literally he. I think he already knew that he's leaving.
But it's crazy though, isn't it? Like you said, you know, that kind of proves in terms of how long and the little hoops you have to go through to sign a deal. Do you know what I mean? To make confirmation. But yeah, obviously
inside one of them boardrooms.
Yeah, exactly. One days. But obviously, what other news is out there? Because obviously there's still Amrabat. We've still got outgoings, Fred and Donny van der Beek.
Yeah.
I know Bishop's recently gone, hasn't he, to Sunderland? That's a permanent deal.
Thank God.
We wish him the best of luck. Yeah, he was neither here or there, was he? Like, I feel sorry for the guy. Do you know what I mean? Thought I'd heard he signed, but he never played in the youth teams and things like that, or the under 21s as much. When I think he played one game for us, was he?
Yeah, I think he made one senior appearance, but even then, like, when I see these players that come for 4 or 5 years and they rarely play, or they're essentially he was a fourth choice goalkeeper, right? Because we had De Gea, we had Heaton, we had Henderson, we had him, we had Kovar, all of them lot. He was essentially below all them. And I just think to myself, like, surely that's poor scouting now. Like, essentially you're wasting that guy's career. And, footballers can't play forever.
I'd flip it the other way around and say, well, I think what you're being bought for. Does he believe in himself as much, thinking, right, if I leave Manchester United, yes, I'll make a career, but it might be in League 2 or something like that. I'm never going to... Whereas, okay, I'm at Man United now. I'm hoping for an injury or two. I might get my chance. And, a bit like Rashford against Mitchell and all those many years ago.
Did he make his debut when he was like doing his A-levels or something?
Something like that. He wasn't obviously... Yes, he was planned in the group, but I don't think he was ever saw as the future as such. They didn't pin their hopes on him. But obviously, classic Martial got injured in the warm-up. He got his chance, and he's never looked back. So sometimes I think players are thinking that as well, aren't they? That I'm never gonna get another opportunity to join a top club again. Hopefully, there's an injury or two. Whereby, but he's still young, wasn't he? He's 23 years old.
Have you ever seen the Ben Foster interview where he's talking about his time at Man United?
No, is that on his podcast?
I don't know if it was on his podcast or he appeared on someone else's.
I think it's someone else's. I watched 5 minutes of it and I turned it off.
Yeah, where he's like, "Oh, they're so serious at Man United. They're too serious." And I mean, look at the team he was in.
Too serious?
Yeah, he was basically saying they took football too seriously. And that was one of the most winningest teams we've ever had. And it's just, I mean, yeah, it could have been his mentality, could have been his attitude, could have been his ability, could have also been the scouts. You don't know. And like you said, Hops, we wish him all the best, man. These pro footballers that make it, they're the 0.00001% of the popularity. And fair play to the guys.
You know what? I think it's age as well, because they come to us at a certain age, and they're probably thinking okay, I need to when they were young, they probably had targets at what age to break into the United team, do this with United, do that, and now it's just I'm at that level, but I'm not into the first team yet, and you might need to leave to basically reach my goals.
Yeah, because only 23, isn't he? He's not old by any, especially for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But just, any other news? Amrabat's
a bit, I think it's a bit quiet, from Alfredo and Fabrizio. I think Fab is saying there's still no bid, but there's talks, but he still wants to move, and it's only United. And I think he rejected Jurgen Klopp's call like 17, 18 times.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
rejected
so that,
Saudi
yeah.
as well, apparently.
Yeah. So
So
I was expecting Hojlund to be doing Wednesday, and by the weekend, obviously Amrabat, but it might even take another week now because if someone they see running the scenes at United,
Let's
it's
just
always
hope they
going
have
to
a
be
fax
late.
machine that works.
Yeah.
No, I know, yeah. Because the other thing I've seen is they're obviously waiting for a Fred or a Donny to happen before they
Someone
pull the
Amrabat, yeah.
trigger. Yeah, for
Yeah.
Amrabat to come in, which hopefully looks like Donny seems to be closer to the exit door than Fred, though there's been a lot more talk about Fred, hasn't there, of late?
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
I think
Fulham in Galatasaray. Well, Galatasaray pulled out the race. A couple of Saudi clubs apparently came in. God knows what's happened there. And then obviously Donny's linked with Sociedad since Silva's retirement,
yeah.
which is unfortunate. I know he's a City player, but what
Yeah,
What,
he was a
a
good
guy!
player,
what,
man. He was a
what
good
talent.
player.
What talent.
And obviously, sadly, the injury ended his career, but all the best to him as well, you know?
Good luck to him and his future endeavours. And like you said, yeah, Donny goes, and hopefully somebody like Amrabat comes in. Boys, obviously talking about players and Man United, I think one of the players that we have to talk about recently come back into the news. I think we've had some reports coming out. Mason Greenwood. Boys, obviously you tell me what you've heard, but we've heard that the club. I think there was not a statement, but there's reports out saying within the next 2 weeks before the Wolves game, we're going to find out what's happening. Then I think Fabrizio, was it yesterday, said it's a matter of hours and days actually,
Yeah,
rather than
hours of
weeks.
days. Yeah, he said. I mean, you have to look at it from Greenwood. I think he just wants to play, and he just.
Do you
wants to
reckon
play
they
for
keep it
United.
quiet and they play him in one of the friendlies?
None.
Well, didn't say friendlies. I guess it'd be like behind the closed doors. But I think somebody shared some rumours. I didn't personally see that he's been seen at Carrington with some of the players.
Okay.
I
Again,
know a while ago, obviously he was still under court. Well, I don't know what he was under at that point in time because I don't know when the court case officially became no case to answer. But there was a picture that United put on socials from that day in training. You know how they always do the little clips from training and the sessions and stuff. And there was a player that had one of them little snoot things on.
Yeah.
And he had it pulled up over his face. And pretty much everyone in the comments was like, that's Mason, that's Greenwood, that's Mace, what's he doing there? Why is he back? This, that, the other. And then all of a sudden that post got deleted. So it makes me question, how long has he actually been back in training? Because we know he's clearly been training privately because he doesn't look out of shape, you know?
I think what it is with Greenwood as well is he because he's that basically professional athlete as well. He is going to get in professional trainers and just train up as well. He's not going to just sit back and relax.
yeah,
I do believe he has been training since he got obviously arrested and everything. And during the investigation, he has been training as well, probably at Carrington with the individual coaches, not with the first team, but even then, obviously privately as well. I think he was pictured in Dubai with Anthony Langer, was it?
Anthony Langer and another player. Although that was questioned whether that was Dubai or not.
Yeah, question marks on if it's Dubai or not. With the Langer and Greenwood, but I do see him. But the thing is, so the only thing that I'm gonna mention is obviously if he does end up playing in one of the friendly just on Saturday, do they not have to put an announcement there that he's unsuspended or?
Like I said, I can't personally see it being, he's unsuspended, and then literally the next day or hours after he starts playing.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be integration because to look to the outside world, it's going to be like, right, now we've made this decision. Now we're going to integrate him back slowly. Because I think if you just do bang, 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 people then start asking even more questions. So
okay,
how long has this been going on for?
I'm going to hit you with a dilemma here.
Go on.
So we're in, let's call it match day 6 or 7. And Rashford's got a niggle. Hojlund's injured. There's no other strikers. your choice is to start him, right? Like, what else do you do?
No.
Or do you shuffle around, put Sancho in the false nine, mate? Like, what do you do?
I mean, unless there's an announcement from the club, I see no change. We just don't do anything.
Oh no, we need the announcement first. But I'm just saying, from a sort of a reintegrating him slowly kind of perspective.
No.
So what are you saying? I think just the announcement been made. Are you going to throw him into the starting 11?
Like
No.
in that scenario of everyone's injured, are you gonna?
I think they would have to play still politically. This has been a whole political game. It's not even been. What's that? Sorry.
I don't think we see him. Like, this is my personal point of view. I don't think we see him until at least January, like fully in a starting 11. I reckon
January.
They'll give him minutes here and there. They'll probably give him a lot of closed doors games, maybe some under 21s, just to get. Because the thing is, he may be a physically fit athlete, but 90 minutes is football.
It's match fitness. It's match fitness.
No. That I totally agree with. But the way you're only going to get match fitness is by playing, and especially the match fitness that he's going to need is by playing. But look, if we decide, okay, that we've now going to bring him back, okay, why then the political games? If he's our player and we've decided he's our player, why are we going to play the political games? Surely it should be just like any other player who, yes, you're right, gets up to speed. Until he's up to speed, he's not really going to play. But why are we messing around?
Yeah, I think what it is as well is you need to look at Ryan Giggs, Johnny Evans. I think someone mentioned it. I saw Johnny Evans was falsely accused of rape as well. I don't know. I saw it on Twitter just like 3 hours ago.
Rings a bell, maybe. I can't 100% remember, so I'm not going to comment too much on that.
Because I've never heard of that before. I just literally saw it and I thought, okay, this is a bit something interesting. But then you got to look at Harry Maguire as well. I think he's still due to be in court. Is he? Greek court or something?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
And no one's even talking about that. And he's the captain of United as well. Do you know what I mean? Well, he was the captain of United. Yeah. He was the captain of United as well. And no one was talking about that. It's like, okay, you're gonna put him under the radar. Now, I'm not saying it's the same thing. It's two completely different things. What Maguire did to what Greenwood did, but it's still a criminal offence. Do you know what I mean?
There's also apparently the Anthony thing that may not be a story.
Yeah. I think for me, what it is Greenwood has been made a. How do I put it in words where... See, this is why I want you to be Harami, not a fucking Brown Munde. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I think Greenwood has been made more of a scapegoat. And everyone's just literally just piling onto him. Now, I'm actually worried about Mason Greenwood's mental health because how does he overcome it if he gets a lot of abuse from the fans? But you've got one manager, if he does come back, in Erik ten Hag, who's literally, you got fans saying, yeah, I trust Erik ten Hag. Okay, trust him, let him play, let him do what he needs to do with Mason Greenwood as well.
Can I take this outside of football for just one split second? When we talk about mental health there. Do you guys remember the story of Caroline Flack?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
TV presenter.
Former Love Island presenter.
Yeah. She obviously had that, whether she was abusing or her boyfriend was abusing her and whatever, and then she was getting a load of abuse from that. And
I think it had been apparent that she'd been abusing her boyfriend, partner, whatever it was,
And obviously she got a lot of abuse on the back of that and, sadly, took her own life. Now, this is the thing where this can also happen to footballers. This can happen to anyone. And, we've seen it in our personal lives. Everyone's exposed to this, and whether or not we pay attention to that and we act on that is a different scenario. Like, clearly the club will have some sort of support network around, at least I hope they do, because we know Jesse had a few issues, and Jesse said he wanted to speak to a psychologist.
Jesse Lingard.
Yeah, and the club, was there something about the club said they'd find him someone and then they never did or something? I don't know.
Not too sure.
I can't remember what it was, but Jesse went through a lot, obviously, with his mom and everything.
I mean, again, obviously, you have to go back to Cristiano Ronaldo as well, because when he lost his kid as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then everyone obviously was giving the support and everything and stuff like that. But then when he revealed it in an interview, he actually told his interview, Piers Morgan, what happened as well. You know what I mean? And you have to look at it from both sides as well. You can't just look at it from one straight path. Yeah, you are right, Afzal, because even footballers go through all this emotional stuff as well. They have got feelings. And I think this is where it's literally a really fragile topic as well. But you know what it is? People need to talk about it as well, because a lot of people have got different opinions, different perspectives as well. Some people don't even see that on the road, but they actually think outside the box from that point of view of the player as a footballer to a personal human being. I mean, the guy could even be going to counselling as well. Do you know what I mean? Just to improve himself in that sense. Whereas from the CPS obviously dropped it, which is obviously that's for him is basically good news. I think he did release a statement about it as well. Now I'm gonna flip it from Greenwood and then to another player and then flip it back to Greenwood as well. Benjamin Mendy as well. Look at how many charges he went up against, how many females he went up against as well. What he must be going through. And the one word he literally said was Alhamdulillah. And when he walked out of court, and the reporter tried getting more answers, but he literally just ignored it and walked away. Flip back to Greenwood as well. It's just like, it's a really fragile case. And again, obviously, I go back to Ten Hag. If he thinks he needs to play, he needs to be into the first team, back the manager, back Greenwood. That's how it is.
Yeah, I think rightly. Everything you boys have said, I agree with, and I think rightly as well. There's obviously been evidence out there, or that's come out. I mean, the pictures I'm gonna ignore, because look, in none of those pictures was Mason Greenwood there, so I can't time with that. But obviously, with the recording, yes, we did hear it. I think it's 50 seconds of that recording, and I think that's what a lot of people are saying. And we heard the things on the recording. Now, I'll be honest with you. Excuse me. I heard it, and obviously, yes, it was kind of, what the hell. But I mean, boys, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think. How can I put it?
Perhaps I'm actually going to add something into that as well, because what we have seen, I think the police have got more to that as well. So you've got the audio clip as well. I think they've got the longer version.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things I heard was that
clip.
because it was only so many seconds, 50 seconds of a 15-minute audio. That's why it was inconclusive. Obviously, they may have heard the rest of that clip, what was played. And more obviously to come out of that. You don't know whether she'd instigated something or vice versa. She might have said something similar.
But you know what it is? Another thing I want to add as well, which is literally just coming to my mind, was okay, her account got hacked. It literally got leaked. Yeah. Now,
I don't know as well, because in one of the pictures she does say, "Oh, this is what Mason Greenwood does to me."
Yeah. I'm not. You know what it is? I'm not backing Greenwood.
No. I'm just trying to look at the exact facts of what's out there at the moment.
So his actions are wrong as well. Yeah, what he's done. If he has done it, you know what, he shouldn't play for the club. But at the end of the day, you have to come down to second chances. But the CPS have said, look, you know what? No. But what I'm gonna add is, okay, I've just mentioned the police have got more information than what we have seen as well. Forgot now. Heaven's sake.
I mean, you might trigger your memory fast. Continue. But what I wanted to say was, look, talking about the mental health there, all we can go by is what we've seen and what we've heard. Okay, and I think not one person can tell me otherwise, and hopefully please do tell me otherwise, to say that they 110% know exactly what he did, and he should not play for the club for that very reason. Okay.
Well,
I mean,
it's like when Riz said on a previous episode, unless you were in that room, you don't know. None of us know what actually went on. I'm guessing the police know. I'm guessing her family know. Obviously, Mason, Harry, everyone involved knows. Now, all we are just football fans. We're men. We're not involved in this scenario. And
the funny thing is, absolutely, the funny thing is as well is, so when there's a game on, every fan becomes a football fan. When it's come to numbers, everyone becomes a financial guru. When it comes to transfers,
we're like chameleons, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to transfers, everyone becomes a stats merchant.
When it comes to legal, we're all barristers and
Yeah,
and this is what I'm trying to say. Look, I always say there's 3 sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, there's a mashup of that there. So, in my eyes, there, I can only go by what I've seen. There, yes, there's some audio and there's some pictures. The audio obviously was only 50 seconds of a 15-minute clip. And I've said it before, there's other people that, have had recordings against them, but it didn't show the whole picture. And when you do see the whole picture or the whole recording, it's a whole different context. And then, you've also got to go by the fact that they never had a child together as well. Okay, whether they're getting married or not, and obviously they put out pictures together. You've seen them since together. Even when he was on parole and things like that. I think he got done because of that fact that she was coming over. So what I'm trying to say is, personally, look, people, we've all got our own views, and I don't think, like I said, none of us know. And like you boys just said, look, we're football fans. Yeah, let's leave it at football fans at the moment until we know both. All the evidence, then yes, we can say this, that, the other, but we can only go by off what her actions are now. She's still with him. She's had a child with him after, obviously, all the allegations. So it's not like it happened before. She's obviously fallen pregnant after the allegations, and she's had the child together with him. Going back to mental health, we don't know what the story is, and there's a lot of people out there who have been struggling with mental health as well. We don't know the reasons why, and we just don't know what triggers it. And far too often, I've seen that Caroline Flack thing as well. There, also like you mentioned, is that when people will keep battering her, but then when unfortunately she took her life, then it was almost like, it's really sad news.
Yeah, then they all pulled back and
somebody should have been there to support her. Look, man, you should, what I mean, take count for your own actions. Yeah, it's easy to be judge and jury, and sometimes you got to flip it on yourself as well. When people falsely accuse you of something, whether it's minute or whatever, how do you feel in that situation? You just hope to God that. You always say, I wish people knew the truth, because that isn't the truth. Now, yes, this has been played out and some bits have come out, but again, we can only go off by what we've seen. Case has been dropped, and obviously she's had a child with him as well. And finally, before I wrap up on this, before I get your final thoughts on this, boys, it's not like they need the money. Harriet and her father, parents, they got plenty. Some will say that they've actually got more money than Mason Greenwood. So I don't think it was the classic case of shutting up somebody by paying them. But boys, like I said, before we move on, I mean, any final thoughts on that there?
If I can jump in to 2 things. First of all, Romano's just tweeted, Rasmus Hojlund has just signed his 5-year contract with option for a further year as a new Manchester United player. Done, sealed. So
Fantastic.
That's
that. The visa's on.
I'm going to guess
anything.
He would have signed it if it's the visa. Signed. Yeah.
But on the Mason Greenwood scenario, yeah. Well, on the whole mental health thing in general, like, look, you can't keep beating people with a stick. Like, you see it when people talk about mental health on the internet, and there'll be some troll in the comments saying something or whatever, and you just think, come on, like, have a bit of humanity in you. Like, not everything's about attention. Not everything's about, what you think is attention might be someone else's cry for help.
Yeah, totally, man.
And we've seen it way too many times. I remember wasn't there a German goalkeeper who left a suicide note on a train station platform or something?
Was it Robert Enke?
I
Robert
can't remember who it was,
Enke,
but it's
yeah.
quite recent. And you just think like they
And did he go through with it?
I can't remember. I'll have to find the story. I'll send it.
I'm trying to find it now.
But
I think he was
a Bundesliga keeper at the time.
Yeah. So it was Robert Enke. He died in 2009, 32. And
Wow. Okay. He took his own life.
Yeah. So police confirmed a suicide note was discovered, but would not publicize what the details was. His widow, Teresa, revealed that her husband had been suffering from depression for 6 years and was treated by a psychiatrist. After the death of his daughter in 2006, he struggled to cope with the loss.
Yeah, which understandably would cripple anybody. But yeah, and not just people on the internet. I think within our own communities, within the South Asian community, we need to talk about mental health a bit more seriously. Like, it's very much, why are you sad for? Get on with it. Get up. Do this. Do that. Like, the real world is horrible, man.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's just like I always say. Look, whatever you've come with, which is nothing, you're gonna go with, which is gonna be nothing. you know, I mean, I think I saw a quote by keeper recently, Buffon, Gigi Buffon. Along the lines, I'm only paraphrasing. When you're young, you're the keeper of Juventus, you're the national keeper. 26, you got the world at your feet, you've got everything, you got money, status. People think you're superhuman, but no, you're only a person. You're just like the same as everyone else. Don't go into their own hype and thinking you're better than somebody, because that only lasts for so long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Can we just say what an amazing career he had, man?
Yeah.
He didn't win the Champions League, but with everything Juventus went through, he was one of the only players to stick with them, brought them back into the big time. Then he went and got his big move to Paris. Then he came back to Juve. Then he went back to his boyhood club, Parma. So his career had like perfect symmetry. And now he's retired, and I think he won it all except the Champions League.
But I think obviously winning the World Cup wins it all for me.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Not everyone gets to win the World Cup. I think if you win the World Cup, you're a special player. I think Buffon, for me, he's my all-time favorite goalkeeper, regardless of who. I don't care who it is. It's Buffon for me, number one.
Yeah.
He's had a long career.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go back to the mental health side as well, just to finish it off. If you guys don't want to add anything on, is
all yours, bro.
If you are struggling, and you want to speak to someone, literally just DM the account or either one of us individually. We are here to basically talk to you, listen as well. I think the most important thing with people who are struggling with mental health is people don't want to listen. They just want to talk to the people who are suffering as well and give them advice. You need to listen. That's the most important thing for me. And we're all here to listen. We've got banter just to put that smile back on your face. But I think most importantly, it's fine. Like, it's okay not to be okay. I tweeted that before as well. And I think obviously people need to understand that every single person goes through experiences that people haven't dealt with, or they probably have, but so the experience that they go through, everyone deals it in a different way. No one does it in the similar way. Everyone does it in a different way, and it's basically how you come out the other side.
100%, Nikhil. And like you said, hopefully, we've done plenty of episodes of Brown Munde and Harami United, and I think everyone out there, I think you should know us by now. Yes, we'll have our banter, we'll have our conversations, but I think more than anything else, as I said right from episode 1, we're here for everyone, irrespective of where you are, what race, religion, country, continent you're from. We're all the same people, and we're here, and because we know people within our own circles of experience and mental health issues, so we're here. And I'm just going to echo what Akil said. DM us, or individually, or the account as well, and we'll definitely listen and talk. Guys, just moving on to something a bit different. How can I say? I think the British media, sports media, should I say? I'm not going to say British media, sports media. Classics this week in regards to the takeover. No, I think what day are we on today? Thursday. Was it Tuesday? Monday, Tuesday? We had iPaper come out. A reporter called Mark Douglas says the takeover's on pause. And I just saw everybody lose it.
Even the stock market lost it as well, didn't they?
The stock market.
The stock market literally lost it. Everyone went into like a frenzy.
Oh my god! So for me, the stock market would have been the retail investors, and when I say retail investors, those people, who buy off the news and don't quite know how and where stocks and shares work. They just buy off the hype, FOMO as they call it. And then as soon as they heard a bit of bad news, they just sell it. And I'll say there wasn't much volume to kind of back a mass, a mass reason of to sell because of the back of the news of the iPad. Because on the back of that, the next day literally was Mike Keegan, who said there was no pause.
Yeah, I think he's been the Qatari mouthpiece as well, hasn't he?
I think that's how he kind of said it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think out of everyone, he's been closest to it.
But then he said it. Then Ben Jacobs backed him up. Kind of said there's no pause, but he waffled on his normal self. And I think a couple of others did as well. It's like, come on.
Well,
people.
Kave said from Sky, was it last weekend when he was like, there'll be news after the US tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's sort of
news of no news as such.
Yeah,
I think maybe that's why. Like I said, this is Mark Douglas from the iNews. I've never heard one piece of him about the takeover. So to think that this guy got some kind of exclusive to say, that this is the funny thing, isn't it? On the headlines, it said it's paused, but when you read more into it, it's saying that there's one party, one source from the one party is saying, actually, we've not heard anything back. They've not asked us to either bid more or nothing. We've just had no communication back since. So if you've had no communication back, because I think the theory was that the bidders haven't hit the $6 billion price mark. But if you've not had any communication back, you're not being asked to bid anymore. Well, how do you know there's a pause? And then how do you know that the price hasn't been met? Especially when it's just the one from one party.
Do you know one thing I want to know? Is how do all these journalists know what they know? Because aren't all parties involved under NDAs?
The NDAs, man.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, that word NDA, that turns us all into detectives, and we all, especially, the football fans and.
Yeah, it's like I said before. It's like I said before. When there's obviously a transfer, everyone becomes basically masters at AITKs and stuff like that. I mean, I've been calling it as well, but it is what it is. You just shrug it off the shoulder and move on.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's just because you got people DMing you saying, I told you this was going to happen, this, that. And then when you get Mike Keegan the next day say, there's been no pause, the Qataris still look like the favourites. Even Ben Jacobs kind of alluded to that, and it's like, okay, well, then you don't hear from anybody. Do you know what I mean? To say, oh, yeah, you know what? I think they're still on, it's just hilarious.
You know what is funny though is when that Douglas tweet came out about obviously there's been a pause. I'm not gonna mention the name or the whatever, but there was a tweet that I saw and it was literally and people wanting to believe Reuters and Bloomberg. And and the next day, what happened was Keegan dropped his, and everyone was literally happy. You know what I mean? And that account was literally just quiet because the fact that Keegan dropped something and it was a positive one as well. Everyone obviously, you know what it is. I think obviously there's a split. You know how the fans are divided between both potential bidders and stuff like that. The fans will always be divided, regardless of what happens with United. And that's the sad thing about it.
You know what though? Actually, I don't. I'm not going to put Man United. I'm not going to say it's specific to Man United. I'm just going to say it's society in general and football fans in general as well.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want people to think it's just United fans because it isn't. You know,
No,
you
it's
hear.
everyone. It's everyone.
I think it's just a social thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Everybody wants to say, you know, the correct because people have the players. Oh, watch out for that player. You know, oh, I can't believe Man United missed out on him. He's gone to such and such a club. Oh, we're shit. I mean, we know. Sorry, we nearly swore that. We're no good. You know, our scouting is no good. What this guy's going to be a player. When he hits it off, then there's like, oh, see, I told you.
Yeah, I told you back in 2011 on my own Facebook post.
Yeah, exactly. And when they do nothing, you don't hear anything from them. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, but they didn't have the right setup or this, that, the other. Like I said, I think it's just become a social thing that everybody, whether it's against their own club or not, and it's sad to see that it is against their own club a lot of the time, they just want to be proven right as an individual. Do you know what I mean? Not like so much, oh, you know what, I'm so happy that I'm wrong. You know, that's, you know, obviously, yes. So, just admit it. I'm skeptical. I'm negative, and I don't think this is going to happen. But, I'll be happily proven wrong. And I think that's what's happening with Qatar. I think the underlining of it is a lot of people don't want Qatar for their own, whether it's, to me, it looks like it's very xenophobic. That's the reasons as well. But I don't want to get too much into that. But what I will say as well, excuse me, I think this news kind of ties in with what Riz had said before, is that we probably won't hear anything until September, because of obviously the embargo that may be happening if there's a sale process. So we'll be frozen for at least a couple of weeks whilst everything's going through, so we can't buy or sell. And I think Keegan touched on it as well, or maybe Ben Jacobs. I think it was Keegan. The delays, the delays are from the Qatari side.
No, that was Ben Jacobs, which he actually got something right for once.
Yeah, he got something right for once. Yes, I think it was
Ben Jacobs. Well done.
That it's something from the Qatari. Now, all I will say, and again, as I say, I do promise we just want to get everybody together to talk about this, and about Qatar.
I think the thing about Qatar there, it's not just having everyone together, it's also we want to get the facts right. We don't want to skip over, or because the thing is, Qatar got awarded the World Cup, and look how the world came for them. Like, it was negative press after negative press after, didn't they make a whole documentary on it or something?
Yeah.
And then Gary Neville did that thing about unpaid workers and this, that, the other, and these are the living conditions and all this.
I think the Hassan guy, who's the actual organizer, he even came on TalkSport when they were over at the World Cup just to do an interview. With Sam and Jordan as well, which is also big.
That's one person you definitely want to do an interview with.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, so obviously we don't want to delve in too much because we are going to have episodes, and like I've said, we'll get the right people and the right facts, in terms of this there. But what we know, especially for HBJ, he's not a guy that messes around. Like I've touched upon there. There's a lot of criticism, even if we compare it to the Saudi takeover, PAF's takeover in Newcastle. It took 18 months, I think it was in the end, something of that nature, a very long time anyway. And they went through a lot of things. HBJ is just not that type of person. If he's gonna be a part of something and something's gonna go through his name, he's gonna make sure every stone has been unturned to make sure that nothing comes back on him and make him look amateurish.
Yeah,
The
I
one
think
thing,
I think what it is. I think with Saudi, they went back and forward with the Premier League as well. They
Mm,
got rejected a few times before it actually got accepted. I think Sheikh Jassim. I'm going to mention Sheikh Jassim because it's his name above the door. I think he's literally, well, to be honest with you, I'm going to mention HBJ because that's his father and he's got more experience in these kind of dealings. But he probably looked at that deal and thought, you know what, let me get every single little detail done and then we'll do it. Not
Because the
literally just,
Saudis came in for a hit
yeah.
when the initial takeover sort of didn't happen or paused for a bit. And again, from a PR standpoint, and what people need to realize as well, Arabs are very proud people that, they're not ones to be making, like, they don't take lightly to being mocked. And they will want everything right 10 times over. So no one can pick holes in it. No one can say, oh, it's this, it's that, oh, it's funded by this or funded by that, or, whatever theories people have, people are always going to have these theories. But look, as far as I'm concerned, unless there's a statement coming out saying no sale, no news is good news. And I think people just need to relax a little bit on that front.
but I'm gonna, before quickly just switching it a little bit, but I'm also then gonna point out what was said in the paper as well, I paper, and what Riz was saying. Riz had said Qatar have, essentially got the club, but again, until all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. There's no kind of being announcement. But getting the name mixed up. Sir Jim Ratcliffe will not be told anything. He's just kept on the back burner, and there's no dialogue with him at the moment in time, which then came coincidentally with what I knew said by Mark Douglas. Again, there's only one side doing the talking, and they've not heard anything. And they've not been asked to up the bid. They don't know anything about what's happening, what the status is. And again, that's a UK media, and we fully well know that Qatar have not been talking to the UK media.
It's quite
So
funny though. It's quite funny though, isn't it? Because Douglas has tweeted, and you can tell that's from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. The very next day, it's like, you know what, Qatar wanting to hit back with Keegan.
yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I
As we
mean?
said,
Yeah,
Keegan was one of the first ones to break
yeah,
it
yeah.
about Qatar. So, but so look, people. Even I know it's not going to happen, but even if you just look at these last couple of days, just relax. Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of different things. I don't think we're too far away now. My theory has always been after the season starts and the majority of our signings are done, which I think it's nearly done. So I think we may get something before September. But look, even if it's till September, no bother, because all I want is the Glazers out. And once the Glazers out, just watch what happens to the club, how we go strength to strength, and we'll go for that. But you know what? Moving on slightly as well, and I'm not going to go away from HBJ actually or Qatar too far. Chelsea, I think we had Bloomberg.
So
Was it
are
today?
we going Saudi there? Or are we going America with Todd Bowley? Which way are we
No,
going?
no, no. We're gonna go.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the west now. Todd
Okay.
Bowley. He's had to do another round of funding for Chelsea,
Yeah, which is
because they've
quite.
not
Yeah.
gone quite well as they thought they were going to do. What's happened
Yeah.
there?
And you know what? I think it's just Americans being Americans. Um, you just can't compare it to the Middle East. Basically, I think I say the same. Similar, British Americans. You can't compare them to the Middle East.
The thing is, from my point of view, like I said this when he took over, eventually he will glazer that club. Maybe not to the extent that we've had it, but look, even FSG did it for a while with Liverpool. They bought them a few shiny things in
Yeah.
Van Dijk, Edison, Salah, and then they sort of, not Edison, sorry,
So
Alisson.
they sorted the club out as well from a point.
Yeah, and then they sort of pulled back and were like, oh, we'll enjoy our dividends for a bit. And then they dip back in again, and then they dip back out. And then, there was rumours FSG wanted to sell, or they wanted to get minority stakes invested. And you just think with, is it Clear Lake Capital, the group he's got?
Clear Lake Capital.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Clear Lake Capital. look, I feel sorry for Chelsea fans if that's the case, because my personal view, I said this in the group chat, I'll say it on here, they've bought very young in terms of the players they've bought in. They've bought reasonably well with a lot of the fees. They've sold very well, as we know, to the Saudis. And I think now that the Chelsea supporters, fans club or whatever they're called, has agreed to sell the pitch back to the club, that now enables Chelsea to either relocate or demolish and rebuild a new ground in West London. I think the new ground comes in. I think Chelsea's academy's always been fantastic. I think that will prop up a lot of the recruitment in the next few years. And I think slowly he will pull the plug on his investment, and it will be about taking returns.
Yeah, because I think it's first and foremost the concerning thing. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be looking at, okay, splashed a lot of money. He spent a lot of money there, and now he's having to raise more capital to invest. Now, why is he raising more capital? So A, he's obviously overspent, so his business-wise is going to be silly. And B, they clearly haven't got the money, hence why then they're having to raise funds. But then obviously once you raise funds with investors, you've got to pay them back as well. And not only pay them back what you raised, you've got to be paying the interest, which is going to be very, very high. So it's all, how can I put it? It's all very business-orientated. So it's all about, the money that they're trying to make. Yes, it could be a good ploy where you go buy young, but it just all seemed where they went to just buy young. Now, I was speaking to, one of our members on the Brown Munde podcast, Yusuf there as well, and we was talking about it. He was quite laughing because he was just saying, that's not how the Middle East people do it. They invest for entertainment. So, it's not so much when they invest, it's not that they're there to make money. Obviously, yes, nobody wants to lose money, irrespective of who you are. But their first and foremost is to make sure they got the best of the best. So, we will have a look at obviously City, PSG. Obviously, I know people are going to mention Malaga, maybe Sheffield United as well. So yeah, it doesn't always work, and I get that as well. But I think the names and the figures who are involved in the potential takeover of Manchester United, HBJ. Forget Sheikh Jassim for a moment because there's not much out there. But even if you look at HBJ and his portfolio of work, QIA, which he kind of helped set up back in 2005. Yeah. But I'm just trying to say about the QIA back in 2005, which was set up. As of July 2023, have $475 billion under asset management. So that's less than 20 years, and they've got that much. But then, like you said, and that's just the QA. That's not HBJ's individual investments, which is a lot as well. So all I'm trying to say is that when you're trying to compare the ownership, as we touched upon here, we are football fans. Surely you want your team to win and win good as well. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, what is the point of sports? Sure, it's just escapism. Enjoy it, man.
Yeah, I think again, you hit the nail on the head there, because you mentioned that escape as well. Going back to mental health, a lot of people who are suffering from in their personal life as well use football as a little escape as well. Going back to HBJ, what I wanted to mention before was obviously HBJ. Once the name HBJ, the letters come into it, it's game over, because he's literally built London from scratch. But then you'll have fans who are saying, "Oh, Sheikh Jassim's literally just worth 1 billion, and HBJ is probably
just because he doesn't declare it in Forbes doesn't. These guys have no idea, man.
I think Riz and Yusuf mentioned it a few months ago as well, on Space, I think, or to us as well privately, that they are too proud. They will not put their actual figures on with Forbes or whatever.
Not too proud. I think it was the word that they don't need to.
Yeah,
they don't need to show off.
No.
They don't need that validation.
Yeah.
They've got everything in life. They don't need more. Well, to some degree.
So and then obviously Brown Munde as well. As an Asian, you probably know how the Asian works, where the father leaves it for the son or whatever. They want to give the son everything that he basically wants as well. Inheritance, basically, the Asian inheritance. So I think that's where you got HBJ Sheikh Jassim as well. From what I
Yeah, and the one thing I love, and I think I love as well, is HBJ Sheikh Jassim's son.
literally,
The one
he's
that's
all
always
over.
tweeting about welcome to Man United.
Instagram and
Fahad,
things like that.
isn't it? Fahad.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
just the passion. Obviously, yes, it's coming to light more now, but you can see he's obviously a United fan from before as well. Just the passion that they got. So you just got to think to yourself, you know, we've all been crying out for Manchester United fans to take
Potentially,
over.
we've got 3 generations of the
I think
Al-Thani family as
I think
fans.
we might even see him at Old Trafford. You know.
Fahad.
Yeah.
What do you know? What if my old man took control of our Old Trafford, Manchester United? Well, I'll be there, man. To begin with, I'll have all the best seats in the house. Then I'll try to be a bit humble and say, "Look, carry on." But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that you just see the passion of that young man for the club. How can anyone turn around and just not feel that? Yes, an actual fan, not somebody who's got a season ticket elsewhere in another club, whatever reasons, you know, he's actually passionate and he's always on social media about, you know, Manchester United.
You know, one thing I want to know is, you know what? Obviously, I don't think we will never get the chance as well. But it's how did Fahad become a United fan? You know how you got Yusuf's story as well for the backpack and everything.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pull you up on there, man. Yes, we will find out one day.
Yeah.
We'll make sure he comes on here.
We will bring him on here.
You know, we'll make sure. Do you know what I mean? Fahad, obviously, if you're listening, we'll make it happen. You know, we'll tag you in just in case you accidentally miss an episode of Brown Munde, because I'm sure you do listen to us. But we'll tag you in the various socials. Not to worry. But yeah, you're right. It'd be interesting, Fahad, to get your side of the story as well. You know what, boys? I don't think there's any better note to leave you on, man. You know, we've got the game coming on Saturday. We've got 2 games. One in Old Trafford, one in Dublin, and Lens and Athletic Bilbao. So, you know, we'll try and come back in between, probably Saturday evening, probably, or something like that. But we'll see. We'll come back, you know, and hopefully we'll get Rasmus Hojlund signed over, and then we can move to Amrabat. And
done and sealed, according to Romano. So I reckon he'll be there on Saturday.
Yeah, so unveiled. And then, and I think, you know what, let's get one more signing, and let's just get Qatar and Fahad onto the show, man.
I think you mentioned Romano that he will be unveiled at the Lens game as well.
Yeah, Lens game at Old Trafford. Yeah.
So you know, the one thing I've not looked into is the game in Dublin. Is that literally the same time as well, or is that?
No, it's the next day. It's on Sunday.
Next day.
Or is it? Oh, okay.
It's the next day. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's rumors going around that there's going to be 2 strong teams.
Yeah, I've heard that. So because I think I heard someone say it's on the same day. I've not actually looked into it properly.
Yeah. What I was trying to touch upon earlier about Rasmus Hojlund, I think personally, obviously, with visas and things like that. So if the unveiling is on Saturday, I don't think it's anything to do with social media. We've seen with Erik ten Hag, he doesn't mess around. He wants the player, he wants him in. But my take on it is, I think he knows he's not fit for his system exactly the way he wants him. So I think he's going to need a few training sessions. But between Sunday and the Monday, we'll definitely get a behind the closed doors game, which I think he'll play in. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't worry about him being rusty by the time Wolves comes about. You know, I'm sure he'll be ready. But like I says, I'm going to wrap it up on there. Everybody, thank you again to, tuning into another episode of Brown Munde. Look, obviously we can only build this community with yourselves. So as I said, please always keep in touch. Like the videos, share it as well. You know, other people out there. You know, we have got other people who have requested to come onto the show. So we will be getting you onto the show as well. Just obviously timings and making sure the correct subject. But again, thank you all, and have a good day. Thank you.